Hello, my name's Bob Cara. I'm from Reformed Theological Seminary, which has many campuses in the southeastern United States. I love the traditional view of justification by faith because I think it's biblical. I was noting that there's this new movement, new perspective on Paul that does not agree to the traditional view, and they say it in a confusing way, and I thought that we needed to unconfuse the issue to show directly the justification by faith traditional view versus the new perspective view. And part of the argument by the new perspective authors relates to what we call Second Temple Judaism documents. The average pastor doesn't know much about these documents. In my PhD, I just happened to have studied a lot about them, so I thought I could contribute to the argument against new perspective and for the traditional biblical view of justification. Justification by faith, the biblical view, is very important. It's part of the core of the gospel. The new perspective on Paul wants to adjust it, change it. Okay, what is the logic of the new perspective on Paul? Actually, and here's the key point, there are two new perspectives. There's the new perspective on Judaism, or what we call Second Temple Judaism, the Judaism around the time of Paul and Jesus. There's a new perspective of that. And then they take that new perspective, banking off of that, and then they conclude something new about Paul. So the new perspective on Paul is really two new perspectives. New perspective on Judaism, new perspective on Paul. Okay, so what's in my book? I try and explain as clearly as I can what is new perspective. I also clearly explain their view of Second Temple Judaism documents, that it's not works righteousness. Then a big part of the book is just going through, quoting a whole bunch of Second Temple Judaism documents and saying, look, it looks like works righteousness. Now, I'm not saying that everybody, all Jewish people back then, were works righteousness oriented. I'm just saying some of them were. Now, once you say some of them were, that's whom Paul was arguing against. So a big part of the book is showing that there is works righteousness in some Second Temple Judaism arguments. In a nutshell, New Perspective said there's no imputation. There's no sense that our sins are legally given or imputed to Christ, and that His righteousness is imputed to us all by the instrument of faith. So they don't have that imputation. So there's no way for us to be declared perfect based on the work of Christ because there's no imputation. So that's a big view. No imputation. That goofs up the traditional view of justification.